That's great. That's good to hear. Okay, so you said your major was
psychology.
Yeah. So how did you come to choose that major?
So for like my freshman year of high school all the way to senior year, I bounced around a lot of like majors. Freshman year was psychology. I went to psychology. Sophomore year, I think I was still psychology, and then junior year, I bounced around like 3 different things. Criminal justice. I think I even wanted to do like law at some point.
Right.
I can't remember. I don't know what. Forensic science. That was another one. And then senior year, I came back to psychology. I chose psychology because it's what I want to do in the long term. It's like it's related to therapy. It's very much related to therapy, at least post-grad. And it's a very interesting field, and there's like a lot of research opportunities in it. But my main reason for choosing it was because it's what I want to do post-grad. I want to be a child psychologist.
Cool. Okay, so what is it like to be a first generation student?
So I'm not gonna lie, A&M has done a great job at giving resources to its first gen students. There's a faculty member that's actually been like a great help, specifically for my program for ACREW. She is also a scholarship director, but she's very much like hands-on, like interactive with her students. Specifically like the lessons that they plan out. They talk about like financial aid, they talk about scholarships, they talk about counseling resources and like tutors and things like that. They've done a very good job at that. The only thing is, it's like it's not necessarily like the faculty that do anything. They've done a great job at integrating their first gen. It's the students, because you walk around and everybody has really nice stuff. Everybody's like, they have their like $30 hydro flask, or like they're wearing like super nice clothes, or like they just talk about how, oh, this summer I went to this trip, like I went to some country abroad, or blah blah blah.
Of course.
And it's like, I spent my summer taking care of my little brother. I don't know, like you can tell like there's like a huge difference between your first gens and then like the students that aren't having to worry about paying for college. It's like it's huge. And then like I forgot who I was talking to. Cause first week, I mean, you get to know like people in your class, like icebreaker week, I guess. And they were just talking about like, oh, this summer, like I went to this country with my dad, because you know he's a businessman, he travels a lot and things like that. And I was like, my parents are custodians. Like, it's a huge difference, I think.
Okay. So you mentioned ACREW.
Yeah.
Can you explain what ACREW is and how? I mean, it's only been 3 months, but how you feel maybe that there's a community there? Yeah.
So ACREW is it's like a program. It's a first year transition program. And it combines the students that have got, not combines, but it's like mainly for students that got these 2 scholarships, the President Scholarship and the Regent Scholarship. The Presidential Scholarship is for students that got, I'm not for sure the criteria, but it's for academic achievement. And the Regents is for, it's like a need-based scholarship. And as far as I know, it's for families that earn under $40,000. So it's like, you know, the students there, they're not like super wealthy. They're just like regular students. So in ACREW we have the weekly meetings, and mainly we talk about the research that we have on campus. And last week we had a lesson on abusive healthy relationships. They talk about a lot of like topics that are super important for college students, which I think is a great thing. And they also like provide a lot of like research for us specifically as first gens. We haven't super talked about it, but they've kind of like hinted at it. They've talked about imposter syndrome. I've also come to like a school with like a lot of wealthy students, a lot of like already like 3rd generation Aggies kind of thing. And we talk about how like regardless of how the students are around here, like you belong here, and it's like they made like a really good job at like making us feel like they might not be like you, but like you still belong here kind of thing. So
course.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me about your happiest memory of being an Aggie, and then on the contrary, what your toughest moment here at Texas A&M has been.
So I've been here 3 months so far, and I want to say my happiest memory was I joined this organization, CMSA, and they're a council for minority student affairs. So like, and they're specifically like an immigrant activist group on campus. And I went to a retreat with them, and it was very fun. It was there were a lot of people that were like pro like A&M kind of thing, and I was like, this is different because a lot of students that I mingle with are not like that. But yeah, it was really fun, and it was like they made a point to make you feel like, you know, if you didn't find your family at A&M yet, like this is it. So I would say that retreat was like super fun. Toughest moment here at A&M so far. Trying to find my resources was, even I have a crew, and God bless them, they've done like a great help, but specifically the advisors in my department, or just advisors across the board, they weren't helpful at all, and they didn't know how to talk to me as a first-gen student / student of color. I had a meeting with one of them, I think like at the beginning of the semester, not the beginning of the semester, I want to say like sometime at the end of September. And I came in very, you know, ambitious. I came in with a list of things that I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish. And I was just very excited because it was my first couple months here. So it's like, I'm finally starting what I want to do. And I walk in and I tell her, and I'm rambling, and she's like, I'm listening. I don't think that's possible. I don't think you can do that. You're gonna have to pick one thing, and that's what you're gonna do. And I was like, okay. Then I walked out, and I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be for the rest of the time. Thankfully, I talked to Dr. Palomine, the one that I kind of mentioned earlier, our scholarship director, and I told her, and she was like, that's not how you talk to your students. You're not supposed to do that. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
I talked to her about it, and she was like, I'm gonna help you, and I'll help you. I'll tell you what you need to do. Like, just let me know what your plan is, and blah blah blah. But honestly, like those first 2 months trying to find out what I was trying to do, major / minor wise, the lack of support and lack of acknowledgement of the fact that I'm a first gen, that I don't know what I'm doing, was like tough.
Yeah, I mean, sounds horrible, honestly. So what is your goal after graduation?
So my main goal right now, my main focus, I would like to go to postgrad. When I'm done with schooling, I want to do psychotherapy. I have 2 different goals. I have a bunch of goals, but my 2 main ones is like doing psychotherapy specifically for kids, and my other one is, once I'm financially stable, open a nonprofit, like a shelter for like child services / domestic violence. Those are my 2 main goals right now. I'm probably gonna have even more once you know I finish studying and schooling and all things like that, but doing children's therapy and opening up my own nonprofit would be ideal.
The nonprofit, would that be mostly, like, you're from Bryan, Texas, would that be in Bryan, Texas?
So
or are you thinking
I want to do one in Bryan, just because so the difference between College Station and Bryan is huge. I think you know that. You've been at the school for like a year and a half already. And the college students here, they look at A&M as like the raggedy, like busted down town beside College Station, the nice like college town with a bunch of like cool things to do. Even though there's College Station, there's not that many things to do, but it's a lot better than Bryan apparently. If I don't open my own nonprofit, I would like to donate to one. But ideally I would like to open my own and like oversee management and things like that. But yeah, I would like to do it in Bryan, and especially because all of my family's there. Yeah, so I would like to open one there.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So you've been here for 3 months. What does it mean to be an Aggie to you?
So I've learned that it's a lot of like being honest and very having integrity. Has been like a big one. And another one is like being altruistic, like helping other Aggies, being supportive. And those are the two big ones that I've noticed. I know there's a bunch of other like core values, but I would say those are the ones that I've seen the most, because everyone, like, I personally like thank God that I haven't like nobody's ever been like upfront like and rude to me, but like everyone's been like very nice. On my first day of class, this girl, she came up to me, she's like, hey, it was like the first day, and she's like, hey, like, what's your name, like, oh, like, how are you liking your first week of class? She was very nice. And like that's like how the first week went. Like everybody was very welcoming, very nice, and like it's a nice environment, because I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting everybody to keep to themselves, kind of like mind their business, not mind their business, like
it's a big school.
Yeah. So I was expecting everybody to, like, you know, keep their distance kind of thing, but that's not, like, everyone's very nice, and if you have a question, it's like they'll help you out. That's
honestly good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, what advice would you give a student who would be first generation and is interested to coming here at A&M?
My main thing would be ask questions, ask all the questions, because I know a lot of first gens are very much like, if there's a problem, I'm gonna deal with it on my own. They're very prideful, I would say. And also because these first gens did not have these resources prior to coming to A&M. A lot of them come from schools that were underfunded, things like that. So my main thing would be ask questions, and like, regardless of the demographics of the school, it's like, regardless if you're, you know, black, brown, white, whatever, it's like first gen, you still belong here, you know. It doesn't matter if you're first gen Aggie, you like, this school is like made for you, kind of thing.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the end of the interview. Thank you.
You're welcome.